known as a cloacal kiss, would have its advantages for creatures as large as dinosaurs. But again, there are problems. Most dinosaurs don't have wings. And just as importantly, how could they do it with their massive armor in the way? The dinosaur's bony tail is heavy and rigid and not easily moved. The normal procedures of comparative anatomy had left Carpenter with a trail of false leads. Racking his brain for any idea that might work, Carpenter found one right at his feet: the household cat. And while cats are no more like dinosaurs than dogs are like lizards, Carpenter believes the cat's way would work for T-Rex.
If the female lowers herself much like a cat, raises her rear end up, the tail would certainly go up in the air and would expose her sex organ to the male. And the male can then climb up there and grab her on her neck, and then they can go at it.
In the feline position, with the female's head lowered and tail lifted, the problem of the male's enormous weight would be lifted off the female's back. At the same time, the position would allow easy access for the male. Carpenter's theory is the first to offer a workable answer to the mystery of dinosaur sex, and the first to explain how dinosaurs were able to reproduce their way into history as the unrivaled rulers of Earth for 160 million years. Dinosaurs were the largest animals to mate on land. Insects are some of the smallest, and in their tiny world, sex is a war story that's been going on for millions of years, with its own villains and heroes.
You know, when it comes to looking at reproductive biology, you've got to say that cockroaches are a superstar.
"65 million years ago, an asteroid 6 miles wide hurtles down from the sky and smashes into the Gulf of Mexico. The impact signals the end of the dinosaur age. Their extinction claims half of all species, turning the Earth into a wasteland. But insects endure. How insects outsurvived so many other animals is still a mystery. Some scientists believe the asteroid's impact caused a temperature shift that put insects into hibernation. When they re-emerged, they flourished, developing new ways to reproduce at staggering rates. But in the insect world, sex is more than just reproducing. It's a battle of the sexes, a war over sperm.
Sperm competition has been extremely important in the evolution and diversification of insects. Males are, of course, competing to make sure their sperm makes it into the female reproductive tract. At the same time, females are able to manipulate which sperm make it to successfully fertilize the egg.
The female seeks multiple sexual partners, giving her offspring a diverse genetic portfolio and a greater chance at survival. But the male seeks to father all the offspring. The more paternity, the better the chances for his genes. What the male wants and the female needs are in conflict, and has spawned an evolutionary arms race, stretching the limits of evolution. A far cry from the shark's simple clasper, insects have evolved the widest variety of penis shapes on the planet. In one of the most shocking, the male damselfly's penis has sharp horns at the tip and spiky thorns down the side. If it looks like a scrub brush, there's a reason. The male uses his tool to scrape out the sperm of his rivals before depositing his own. This technique removes more than 90% of the existing sperm, virtually guaranteeing the offspring will be his. And the males of other insect species take even greater pains to guarantee a return on their deposit.
There's a great strategy that some insects and also some mammals have come up with, which is called a copulatory plug. And after a male mates with a female, some of the semen hardens and becomes a plug, and it prevents other males from being able to mate with the female. It's a pretty good strategy.
But honeybees take it a step further. Not just using a plug, they are the plug. Tens of thousands of male bees compete for the queen. Only one gets to mate with her. Think he's the lucky one? Think again. Upon reaching climax, his penis rips away from his body and becomes stuck inside the queen. He dies in order to lock his sperm inside her. But despite this ultimate sacrifice, female bees evolved a countermeasure, a way to pop out the plug, freeing the female to choose the sperm of another, maybe better mate. In bees, at least, females are winning the sexual arms race. But in other species, the males are taking the lead. In stick insects, males have gone beyond the removable plug, evolving into living chastity belts. They attach to their mates for weeks to prevent any other male from fertilizing her eggs. And the male love bug takes this strategy a radical step further. Once he locks his sex organ inside his partner's, he throws away the key. The male's commitment to the act is total. Once joined, he spends the rest of his life in the act of copulation. After the couple is through mating, he will die, to be dragged around by the female until she lays her eggs. Eggs all fathered by that single male. From species to species, the sexual arms race is ongoing throughout the insect world. But in one familiar group, females may have found a way to finally end the war. Entomologist Ron Harrison heads up the cockroach extermination lab at the Orkin Training Center in Atlanta. To come up with ways to kill these ultimate survivors, Harrison spends his days studying the species most commonly found in homes.
95% of all cockroach problems in urban situations are German cockroaches. They're very quick in their reproductive abilities, and therefore that